They wrote it in the laws, ink still bleeds, treating women like soil, just planting seeds. She's gone, brain dead, not even awake, but the state's got a claim, gonna plant its stake. Say it's God's will, say it's life they protect, but they ain't the ones feeling pain or neglect. From Texas to Georgia, they set the trap. Rights roll back while they smile and clap. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. This ain't pro-life, it's control and shame. They don't care if she's gone, just playing a game. Keep her hooked to machines, cold and still, just a vessel to them, not a human with will. No consent, no voice, no chance to resist, just laws in place, written with a clenched fist. Hospitals scared, judges playing God, bodies ain't temples, just stay on pods. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Bands in the dark, they don't care who it kills, sacking courts while they strip out all of your wills. But we'll fight back, march loud, burn bright, cause this ain't the end, it's the start of the fight. Gilead's here, ain't no grace, and those leopards are coming to eat your face. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator.
Oh, baby. He said nobody who healthcare could be so complicated. The Obamacare debate was 6 months litigated. Here's a med school debt got capitalized. Insurance claim forms so high they nearly capsized. But he wouldn't know the frustration of trying to get prior authorization. Everybody knew, the whole world knew, the doctors, the lawyers, the CBO crew. Oh, 30,000 pages already reviewed. It wasn't a big secret, we knew. He said people don't realize Obama deported, but the porter-in-chief is what La Raza retorted. Obama went after the violent folks and felons, drug nabbed the dishwashers and people picking melons. But Obama's argument shows that he's not very bright. If Obama made some wrongs, two wrongs don't make a right. Everybody knew, the whole world knew. Univision, AP, the fact check crew. Oh, acting all surprised that the sky is blue. It wasn't no secret, we knew. He asked who knew a virus could be so contagious. Virologists blinked at someone so outrageous. He was surprised at how many countries existed. No wonder when the virus spread, he the one who missed it. Spread them out, slit red in every deadly hue. World Health Memo said we already knew. Everybody knew, oh, the whole world knew. Oh, the lab coats, the leaders, and we were with the flu. Oh, the nations of the world, more than 192. It wasn't a big secret, we knew. You unveiled oxygen oxygen like contraband air. Like 6 there. You sat down, claiming to discover chairs. War call money was his big surprise. Iraq has oil, can you believe your eyes? He said, we are divided, a surprise to no one thinking. And he was most surprised a Republican was Lincoln. Everybody knew, the whole world knew. The Christians, the Muslims, atheists, and the Jews. Like being shot, they have animals at the zoo. It wasn't a big secret. We knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew.
Gather round, everyone, and I'll tell you a tale about an orange-faced buffoon who should be in a jail. When people say he's done something that goes beyond the pale, he will shake his head and give this answer without fail. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he says he tells no lies and that he never jokes. Confronting with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills. A hoax, he said it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, changing a storm path with black marker strokes. Confronted with the truth, to say it's all a hoax. Casting mail-in ballots is something that he's done. Now he wants to ban them for each and every one. He claims it's for integrity in each election, but he won't believe the results unless it's him that's won. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, they'll fool you with distractions like real sugar in Cokes. Confronting with the truth, you'll say it's all a hoax. He promised to release all the Epstein files that caused all the MAGA base to react with smiles. But how long has he put it off? It sure has been a while, and now he's calling this a hoax, protecting pedophiles. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he'll keep on gaslighting up until he croaks. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax.
peers. What they call treason, if Joe's the name, is patriotism when Donald's to blame. Had Biden done it, I don't flip. Had Biden done it, phone numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd shout no way. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
A self-proclaimed king, a groper in chief, stealing our country, a crooked orange thief. Faux patriots who are poorly educated, wearing red hats and also unvaccinated. Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. A failing media that's barely treading water. They're too inept to fight this new world order. Corporate pigs are at the trough, hear the squeals. The swine won't bite the hands that feeds them meals. But Liberal Dan will see us flow. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. A leftist voice on air, exposing MAGA treason, breaking through their lies with facts, logic, and reason. Unmasking hypocrisy, the truth will be our guide. Call out their lies, justice is on our side. 'Cause Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right.
And welcome back to Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. This is your host, Dan Zimmerman, coming at you live from New Orleans, Louisiana. To join the conversation, we may very well open up the phone lines. We will see. But before then, just join us in the chat rooms, either on liberaldanradio.com or twitch.liberaldanradio.com. Thank you all for joining on this World Cup Monday, with Belgium currently beating the United States of America 2-1, which probably is in making most of the world cheer because Donald Trump had to stick his orange nose in the middle of the business of, soccer, or football, as they say in other parts of the world that aren't America. So, hey, Molly, good to see you. Good to see you, Jolie. Steve from across the pond.
So Scottish, it's crap.
Let's see. Who else we got? We got Wesley. Good to see you. Woke Mike. Visantha, Primitive Icon, Christina, Jan, James, Tim. Good to see everybody. Thank y'all for joining. What's up, Jen and Orvillaby and 250 Kilo Ohm and C4 Miles over on Twitch as well. Thank y'all for joining too. So a little bit of stuff to talk about. I'm wondering if we're up to 20 views now. That's a little better. 20 people concurrently viewing. For a while, I was like, is everyone watching the World Cup and not Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left? That's right. I mean, how could you not, not come to my show that's on 3 times a week and instead watch the show that, or watch the soccer match that, is being very talked about because, again, Donald Trump had to stick his ugly orange nose in the middle of everything because, you know, he has to make everything about him. Good to see you, Frank. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Well, I do have the score open up on my laptop as well because now I can do multiple screens and not have it harm anything, so not degrade my performance. So I have the that says it's on halftime right now, so we're good for the moment. But yeah, I'm sure all of the people who are cheering against the United States, and you know who could blame you, are going to be out there, you know, cheering every single time Belgium scores. So. Anyway, I forgot to go get my water before the show. Oh well, I guess I'll have to just be thirsty or not do as much of the Donald Trump impressions as I normally do. Because, you know, it was totally unfair, like a rigged election. It was a rigged soccer match kicking out our star player who is a birthright citizen, but we're not going to talk about that because I'm going to celebrate him for right now. But then I'll try and deport him later with some other reason. Anyway, hey, Christine, good to see you. Let's see, did I miss anybody else? I don't think. Nick Rich, good to see you as well. Thank y'all for joining Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left. That's right. So, what should we go and talk about? Let's talk about first, where's Mitch? Where is Mitch McConnell? As of today, Mitch McConnell is supposedly still hospitalized and recovering from a serious health emergency that occurred on June 14th, 2026. Nobody outside of his inner circle seems to know exactly where he is or what his current condition is. What is currently known, he's been hospitalized since June 14th, reported to be recovering and improving, but who can believe Republicans these days, right? It has not been announced what hospital he's been convalescing at or whatever. His office has only released brief and vague statements about his condition, and he is still the, I don't know if I want to say serving senior senator from Kentucky, but he is technically still Kentucky's senior senator. According to emergency dispatch records reported by multiple outlets, Mitch McConnell was found unconscious at his Washington, D.C. residence on June 14th. EMS records reference CPR in progress for cardiac arrest. I'm sure that was, you know, well taken by the virile and not frail at all, you know, octogenarian Mitch McConnell. I think he's an octogenarian, right? Though his office did not officially confirm the exact medical diagnosis. So he is believed to be somewhere in a hospital, somewhere in Washington, D.C., but his office has not yet identified the hospital or confirmed whether he remains hospitalized as of today. Recent statements only say that he is, quote, continuing his recovery and is receiving excellent care. Again, because people are asking lots of questions and they're not giving much detail. There's lots of media speculation and conspiracy theories as to whether or not we're going to be weekend at Bernieing this. Of course, the North Carolina governor would get to name his replacement, I believe, if he turns out to have passed away from whatever health condition is. So maybe they will try to weekend at Bernie's it as long as possible. So, but yeah, so he hasn't, I mean, some people say he hasn't disappeared, but, you know, if you can't see him, does he really exist? If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. I need to find the soundboard audio for that because I think I have missed it somewhere. I haven't quite yet gotten it yet onto my soundboard. So, you know, it happens and...
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. So, lots of other stuff to talk about today, kind of briefly covering over this stuff, not exactly sure how much we're going to go into or how long the show is going to be. I am a little tired today, so I was very focused at work today, which has kind of worn me out, even though it's, you know, it's mentally worn me out. So, let's see. Let's allow that. I don't know, Jen, for some reason, is having her comments auto-modded, I guess because it's multiple emojis. I don't know. But yes, Jen, today is definitely a Monday. Let's see. 250 kilo. How could I have gone through 60-plus years of humaning and didn't know spaghetti sauce can eat a hole in aluminum foil? did not know that spaghetti sauce can eat a hole through aluminum foil. And well, you got 10 years on me, 10 plus years on me, but still, I've never quite done that experiment, so I can't really know. Tim Farrell. And Mitch McConnell was just starting to come out of his shell. Jan Donald's communism is oligarchy sounds just like McCarthyism to me. Have you no sense of decency, sir? There's left versus right, and there's right versus wrong. Oh, I'm intending on sometime this week covering the whole McCarthyist bullshit coming from this administration, especially because they don't even understand what communism is. They think Mamdani is a communist. He's a democratic socialist, which isn't even a full-on socialist. So, but that's why Donald Trump loves the poorly educated and said so after the 2016 Nevada primaries. See, Jen says, I think Mondays are always worse after a long weekend, especially with customer service. Absolutely. This weekend I did do something, I had a little bit of a fail because my wife had been asking for making like chocolate chip cookies or chocolate chip cookie squares. And the last time I made these squares was earlier in the year, like in January, and I was so happy when I made these because even though they're the gluten-free version of what my grandmother used to make, which is basically the Toll House recipe, just modified a little bit. I modified a little bit differently than she did, but my squares taste almost exactly in texture and flavor like my grandmother's squares used to be, but yet mine are gluten-free, and it makes me very happy to be able to make that. Of course, I believed I had all the ingredients, and I checked to make sure that I had all of the ingredients that I thought I needed to check for, and I had every single one. I had baking soda, I had salt, I had eggs, I had the gluten-free flour, I had brown sugar, I had white sugar. I didn't have chocolate chip cookies, and I found that out after I made the dough. So I had to go ahead and make the dough, and then put it in the fridge for overnight, and then went to Costco on Sunday, because I couldn't go. No place was going to be open Saturday because it was July 4th. And then, so it's not raining at all on Sunday when I, start driving to Costco. By the time I get to Costco, it was torrential rain falling down on me, and I was drenched walking around Costco. And there was hardly any carts because everybody was underneath the overhang waiting for the rain to stop. And I'm sure they waited for a long, long time. By the time I got out, the rain had stopped. I got back home, put all the groceries away. My wife was like, hey, let's go to Five Below and Aldi to pick up some other stuff that we need to get. As soon as we get to Five Below and we're about ready to leave Five Below, it starts raining again. So I got drenched again. Whatever. But I did get the chocolate chips from Costco, so I was able to make the squares, and it was really good. Speaking of rain, do you remember on Thursday's show when I said, it looks like there's some rain that's called for, that I hoped and wished and predicted that there was going to be massive rain that would fall on top of Trump's MAGA Fest 250? Guess what happened? It rained so hard they told them to get the F out. And then, to make matters worse for the poor MAGA attendees who were attending the festival, they all had to, after spending a long time waiting to go through security checkpoints so they can get in, they had to go through that all over again. So, couldn't happen to nicer people. Only wish it would have continued to rain further on to the night, but at least I predicted that it would happen, right? Elio, your liberal den, time to make the donuts. So, yeah. Let's see. DPD, please don't say Maine does not matter because we don't reside in Maine, but truth be told, every state matters in this dystopian nightmare. I mean, there are some states that matter more than others because there are some states that are flippable versus some states that are not flippable. Like Louisiana, I would really be shocked if Jamie Davis won the primary or the general election in November. Now, I'd love to see it, and I'm going to push for it. I'm going to hope to have Jamie Davis on my show, and we're going to hype him up as much as possible. And it's funny because Jamie Davis, the Louisiana Senate candidate, who's the official nominee for the Democratic Party, because we went back to closed primaries for these elections, or for these types of elections, except for Congress, which, they screwed around because they want to gerrymander more. Jamie Davis is actually on the side of John Fleming as it pertains to the issues of carbon sequestration and, the taking of people's property for private industry so they can participate in carbon sequestration projects, aka abuse of eminent domain laws. And so there are people in Louisiana who voted for John Fleming who are not going to vote for Julia Letlow and who may very well vote for Jamie Davis on that one issue, because that is their single issue. They have nothing else that they want to talk about more than the seizing of private land for private companies to be able to not just do carbon sequestration projects, but also for data centers, and also just being against the carbon sequestration overall as it begins. Because, leftists don't support carbon sequestration because we think that by doing so, you're just perpetuating and making longer the amount of time that we overuse fossil fuels. So, but, that's something that John Fleming didn't quite understand, but it is good to see that some of these conservatives may very well cross the aisle on this particular issue. Hey, Aaron, it's good to see you as well. Let's see, what else? Imagine if Biden supported seizing private lands to build a wall.
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
Tim goes, hailstones falling at Mount Rushmore, record heat for Trump 250. Where's all the Christian nationalists and the God's will people? They'll find some excuse because it's Don's will. Don's will is more important than God's will. So, one person, one name that I put on my show description that some of you may not know about is a person by the name of Andrea Shaw. But it has gained some national attention, so if you haven't heard about it, here it is. The public narrative that Shaw and her husband promoted shortly after their children's deaths was that routine childhood vaccinations are what killed their twins. The criminal case that has now been brought after a year-long investigation alleges that the children were intentionally suffocated by the parents. And again, there's, we're going to try and distinguish as best as we can what has been publicly alleged by prosecutors and what Shaw and her attorney continue to claim. Because, of course, everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and we're going to use the words allegedly whenever we can, while also pointing out the potential hypocrisy that might exist about people supposedly being pro-life, yet they murder their own damn kids, and then try and use vaccinations to try and get away with it. Again, murder charges haven't been proven in court. Again, innocent until proven guilty. April 28th, approximately, of 2025, according to statements made later by Andrea Shaw and her husband, their 18-month-old twins, Tyson and Dallas, attended a routine well child visit. They said the children received 3 of the routine vaccinations, hepatitis A, DTaP, and influenza. Shaw later claimed the twins began exhibiting symptoms afterwards, including fatigue and appearing unusually ill. Those claims have not been supported by publicly released medical records, and multiple large studies have found no evidence that vaccine causes sudden death in healthy toddlers. On May 1st of 2025, police in Payette, Idaho, responded to reports of an unresponsive child. They discovered both 18-month-old twins dead, and they found them lying together in the same bed. From the very beginning, Payette police announced that they were investigating the case as a homicide, not as an unexplained medical death. Authorities did not publicly announce a cause of death at that time. However, days after the deaths, Andrea Shaw and her husband appeared on a podcast produced by Children's Health Defense. Those wackadoodles, those idiots, those people who are anti-science. On the podcast, Shaw said investigators had already questioned her intensively, and according to Shaw, detectives told her that they believed the deaths were not medical, they believed that the children had died from asphyxiation, and they suspected she experienced a postpartum mental health episode and killed the children. Those statements came from Shaw's own recounting of her own interrogation. Investigators themselves did not publicly release those details at that time. But during that same interview, Shaw argued that the twins had been healthy before the vaccinations, they became sick afterwards, and they died in their sleep several days later. They created a a Give, Send, Go fund, because they don't like GoFundMe. They use Give, Send, Go. And they repeated the vaccine claim, and the fundraiser raised more than 10 grand. 2025 and 2026, while police continued their homicide investigation, no public cause of death was released. Investigators remained largely silent. Shaw became involved in anti-vaccine advocacy, and she joined litigation alleging vaccines caused her children's deaths. Detectives continued investigating for over a year before presenting evidence to a grand jury. So on June 29th and 30th of 2026, a grand jury returned an indictment charging Andrea Shaw with 2 counts of first-degree murder. She was arrested in Boise without incident and transported back to Payette County. Bond was set for $2 million, and if convicted, she could face life imprisonment or potentially the death penalty under Idaho law. The state is alleging, they're not actually publicly releasing the complete probable cause affidavit explaining all of their evidence. However, reporting and court proceedings indicate the prosecutors are alleging that the twins did not die from a medical event. Again, according to the prosecution. According to reporting on the indictment and court documents, investigators concluded the deaths were not consistent with an accidental medical tragedy. They believe there was asphyxiation, and they are charging her with the alleged crime. And they also say that they were intentionally suffocated. Multiple reports state the indictment challenged Andrea Shaw suffocated both children. This is consistent with what Shaw herself said detectives accused her of during her interrogation shortly after the deaths. Because she was charged with first-degree murder rather than a lesser homicide. Prosecutors are alleging the intentional killings that satisfy Idaho's requirements for first-degree murder. The full factual basis for the allegation has not yet been released publicly as well. So we will follow this case as it goes along. So we, have received what I think is surprisingly little information about what's going on. Authorities have not released the autopsy findings, official cause of death, any forensic evidence, the medical examiner testimony, witness statements, digital evidence, any alleged confession, or the probable cause affidavit in full. Which means that much of the prosecution's evidence remains under seal or has not yet been presented in open court. The Shaw's current position, though, is that both through her and her attorney, they maintain that the twins died because of the routine childhood vaccinations, which, again, no evidence exists that happens, and that she did not murder them. Her attorney has continued asserting the vaccinations cause of death based on public reporting. He has not presented any medical evidence supporting that claim either. So the most interesting, fact, which is unusual, is that Shaw publicly discussed what the investigators accused her of, the asphyxiation of the children, a year before she was indicted. On the podcast, again, she recounted what the detectives told her they believed the deaths were caused by. Instead of it being a medical event, police had not publicly disclosed that theory when the indictment was later announced. Reporting it indicated alleged suffocation that closely matched what Shaw and detectives had said during the questioning. As the case moves forward, the prosecution will eventually have to present the medical examiner's findings, all forensic evidence that's going to be used to try and gain a conviction, and investigative details to support the allegations, obviously. So until then, many of the key facts will remain under seal and be out of the public record until we start seeing more. So we're going to follow this more and more and more. But it's definitely an interesting case to follow up because, the supposed pro-life people have been fighting vaccines all the live long day, but they end up not caring about lives of anybody else either. Like, they're more than happy to be sick and going around, as we saw during COVID, and spreading the disease and attending super spreader events. They killed poor Herman Cain at the Tulsa event because that's where he, I think, got COVID. So then he passed away shortly thereafter. So the anti-science folks love to promote more anti-science. So there we go. See, DPD, I have a question. Doesn't postpartum depression deal with science? Yeah, but she's claiming it wasn't postpartum depression. She's claiming it was vaccines. She's claiming that the cops are saying that she might have had postpartum depression, but I don't know if the cops have said that, because if it was postpartum depression, then it wasn't premeditated and it's not first-degree murder. So I would go out on a limb. And again, I'm not a legal expert, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the investigators probably believe that it wasn't postpartum depression and that it was something else that was intentional and premeditated, which makes it first-degree murder. So, anyway. Every life is precious to the owner of it. Don't tell that to the slave holders back in the ye old slavery days, because, they owned plenty of lives and none of them were precious, right? Stephen Sayers, everyone knows that the vaccinated Democrats are not human. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Stephen, good to see you. And Belgium is now winning 3-1. So I guess Donald Trump cursed United States sports team. USA keeper tried coming out and being smart and fucked it right and fucked it right up, as Steve might say, from over there across the pond. Let's see. Not an expert, but you play one on Twitch TV and on YouTube. Although I do say that many attorneys have told me that I do have a better understanding of the law than many a lay person out there. So, and look, if I can make my rebuttals to Alito when the Dobbs v. Jackson ruling was released, before the dissents were released, and then once the dissents come out, the Democratic dissent was like what Dan said almost. Like, I have to think that I at least know a little bit about the law, have a pretty decent understanding at least of the law. So anyways, let's go ahead and see if I've missed any other messages before hopping on back to discuss. Christine, wait. Christine got the cops called on her twice on the 3rd and the 4th. How was your weekend? You're going to have to talk about that more on Wednesday on Liberal Dan After Dark, because we want the no holds barred uses of that. Plus, you have other things to talk about that you never finished your story on Wednesday either. Of course, you're free to email me all that information too. But yeah, so again, Liberal Dan After Dark, we've started doing it, and for the first month of Liberal Dan After Dark, we will allow anybody who's a member of the Discord to come on in to that private channel. Otherwise, you're going to have to be a paid member. But I am wanting the regular people who regularly listen to the show, regardless of them being a paid supporter, to be able to come in and still hang out, because I want to, reward y'all for being around here for a long time. So, what about those 16 feral children rescued in Ohio? See, I've missed that story. I might have to go back and look that up for Wednesday. Sure going to be a lot of investigations when the Democrats take back the government. Oh, and when the Democrats take over the House, there will be a lot of House investigations into all the bullshit. So yeah. So let's see. Let's go back to one of the stories that we were talking about last time, with the woman who shot the guy in the Walmart parking lot. We still have no information on criminal charges having been filed against the woman who shot Bart D. The Broward Sheriff's Office have not released her name publicly yet. Investigators said she remained at the scene, cooperated with deputies, surrendered her firearm, and immediately claimed she acted in self-defense. Whether or not they actually allow her to make that claim, will depend on a lot of things. And if she's, lucky, she'll be able to actually successfully claim it. But pertaining to other shootings and other claims of self-defense, we have this week's Hypocrite of the Week. To see who next week's Hypocrite... This week's Hypocrite of the Week is Kyle Rittenhouse, who posted a video on Twitter with the words, "Carmelo is guilty." As a white man, Kyle Rittenhouse was 11 times more likely to successfully claim self-defense than Carmelo Anthony was. That number rises to 17 in states with so-called stand your ground laws. Celebrating a failed self-defense claim when your prosecutor was at best inept and at worst tanked the case is a massive display of hypocrisy, racism, or both. Which one do you think applies? You can figure it out yourself. To see who next week's Hypocrite of the Week will be, tune in live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central to liberaldanradio.com for more talk from the left. That's right. And there we go. Now that I have a new laptop, we can have bits again, like Hypocrite of the Week. And Kyle Rittenhouse is this week's Hypocrite of the Week. I would not have thought that we would actually, be mentioning Kyle Rittenhouse's name again on the show, but here we are. Kyle Rittenhouse is this week's Hypocrite of the Week. Christine, can't wait. I made a cop blush in front of his sergeant.
Oh my.
Nice. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So if you want to hear about Christine's story, you can come to Liberal Dan After Dark after Wednesday show live. When we will be kidless in this house because my kids are going away with their grandparents for a week. But the day after our anniversary, which is tomorrow is the anniversary of my wife and I, 19 years married. 19 years plus of her showing the world that she has absolutely horrible taste in men. And yes, and that means, of course, we were married on July 7th, 2007. So if I ever forget my 777 anniversary, just put me in a home because, I'm just so far gone at that point. Anyway, Big Hook. Did anyone see that video of the white supremacists threatening a black woman with a gun and then warned and shot in self-defense? We were just talking about that, Big Hook. We talked about that on Thursday show too, I believe. So yeah, we didn't actually play the video pertaining to it, but I had not yet heard that he was an actual white supremacist, but he kind of stepped back and then he stepped forward and then, she claimed self-defense. So, and again, that's why Kyle Rittenhouse is Hypocrite of the Week because, he's sitting there, mocking Carmelo Anthony with a K for not, being found innocent or not being found not guilty, for being, declared guilty of the crime when he claims self-defense because self-defense is something that's typically saved for white folks and not black folks. So, let's see. Still 3-1 over there. But yeah, so we were just talking about that. Let's talk about Jason Watson a second. Jason Watson, an active duty U.S. Air Force major, was arrested on July 1st during a protest on the steps of the United States Capitol. According to reporting, Watson appeared on the Capitol steps in uniform and publicly called for the impeachment and removal of President Donald Trump, arguing that recent military actions had violated the Constitution and the War Powers Resolution. The issue that led to his arrest was not the content of the speech itself, supposedly, but where he was protesting, supposedly. I say supposedly because I'm sure if it was a conservative protesting, something, but, protesting but in favor of Donald Trump, that I'm sure they would not have been arresting that individual. The House steps are a restricted area under Capitol regulations. Demonstrations there generally require authorization by a member of Congress. Capitol Police said Watson was protesting without that authorization and arrested him after he refused to leave. He didn't, from what I remember, they just walked up and arrested him. But maybe I missed something, I don't know. So the publicly reported charges: crowding, obstructing, or incommoding, a misdemeanor offense under District of Columbia Capitol grounds law that is commonly used during demonstrations on Capitol property. But there haven't been any other criminal charges that I've seen, or any other case charges. Obviously it's not been dismissed yet. Watson stated that the president has engaged in military action without congressional authorization, a true statement. That those actions violated the Constitution and the War Powers Resolution, my opinion, a true statement, and a true statement in the opinion of many others. And therefore, Congress has a duty to begin impeachment proceedings. His protests focus on those constitutional and legal arguments rather than on electoral politics. Could he face military consequences? Potentially, yes. Separate from the case, U.S. Air Force could review whether Watson violated military regulations governing political activities by active duty service members, conduct while wearing the uniform, public criticism of civilian leadership, and other provisions of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. But no military charges or disciplinary actions has been publicly announced, but Air Force would review the incident after the criminal case progressed. So basically, he was arrested on July 1st, charged with a misdemeanor offense, and the Air Force may determine later if separate administration for military actions were warranted. So there you go. Whether or not it's a First Amendment thing will depend really on, a whole bunch of things, but punishment from his job is not necessarily, if you're in a work uniform and you say things that make your employer look bad, even if it's your employer themselves that are making the employer look bad, expect to have some repercussions on the workplace. So, see, what did Aaron say? March 13th, 2027 is Aaron's wedding day. Mazel tov, Aaron. I'm glad you found a date. And I'm glad you found somebody to get hitched to. So, Christine, I got married on 10/4, 9/4. He still forgot. Maybe that's why he's my late husband. Don't fuck around with Christine. So, yeah. You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't piss in the wind. You don't pull the mask off of Old Lawn Ranger, and you don't mess around with Christine. Anyway, there are no JAG officers to defend him. But there are some JAG officers who charged him, right? Wait, I didn't have the thing open yet. There are some JAG officers who charged him, right? Hey, Chad, good to see you. But yeah, I think we discussed that on a previous show, that the, whatchamacallit, that we both share wedding anniversaries. So, as we're sitting here kind of watching the score, again, 3-1 Belgium, with in the 71st minute, I guess people tell me that I don't understand it, but I don't understand it. The whole offsides thing. I don't get the whole offsides thing. I get offsides in American football, but I don't quite get offsides in soccer. But just because you were able to position yourself in such a way to be able to have a pass that's like, imagine like that being the call in basketball. Imagine if in basketball you couldn't be behind the defenders when you get the ball passed to you, that you had to remain in front of the defenders all the time, and that maneuvering behind the defenders was somehow verboten. Yes, in basketball you can get a 3-second violation, but you still can be behind a defender for 3 seconds before you have to move out the lane. So that's why I don't get. That's one of the reasons why I'm not. I'll watch it, but I'm not a huge soccer fan because the rules just bother me. It also is weird to me that if somebody gets kicked out, like any other major sport, if somebody gets a major penalty that causes them to get removed from the game, that you can bring in a substitution for them. You don't have to play a player down. But in soccer, if someone gets booted, you got to play a player down. And then if a player decides that they're going to leave the match, they can't come back. So that's just weird to me. And I guess that's why I'm not a big fan of soccer, or football, as some would say. So USA under Don has handicapped all oversight. Pretty much. See, basically, I understand what the rule is, that you can't pass to a forward while they are past the defenders. I know what the rule is. I just don't understand why it's a rule. It doesn't make sense. Like, fine, if you want to make it like basketball and say you can only spend a certain amount of time in the in the certain box, behind, whatever, and then you have to leave unless you're guarded or whatever, fine, do that. But if you're able to make a quick move around somebody and then get a shot off, good for your athletic prowess. So I don't know. Christine, wait. When his sister brought me the divorce papers, he had my address wrong, our wedding date wrong, and where we got married. Yes, he was an effing idiot. The sex was good, though.
Oh my.
Anyway, MJ Daniel, like an offensive lineman downfield during a pass. Well, an offensive lineman, the outside offensive lineman can absolutely be downfield during a pass and play if he calls in as eligible. So, I mean, but still, in football, in American football, if you're a defender, if you're a defender and you let a wide receiver get past you, that's your fault for letting him get past you. So, yeah, Donald Trump never considered that guy as an anchor. Yeah, well, he is a birthright citizen, the guy that Trump tried to defend, which is just silly. I almost made him hypocrite of the week, but Kyle Rittenhouse jumped in there and shot his shot, so to speak. Anyway, as it happens, what's the next thing? Oh, yeah, we want to talk a little bit about old Graham. There is another allegation about Graham Platner. And this time, another person has come out and alleged, Jenny R. The name has been publicly put out, out there. I didn't hear the last name, how it was pronounced. I don't want to butcher it. Racicot. A former on and off again romantic partner of the wannabe senator. She alleges, I think they met on Bumble in 2019, and they were on again, off again for a couple of years. In 2021, Platner arrived at her home, allegedly intoxicated. She had repeatedly told him to not arrive at her house. She says that he forced himself on her despite her repeatedly telling him no. She characterizes the incident as a rape. No criminal charges have been filed. She did not report the alleged assault to police at the time. Of course, we don't blame people who are victims who don't come forward because of the fact that our judicial system makes it very difficult for people who are victims to come forward because they'll ask them ridiculous questions like, what were they wearing? Why did you let him into the house? Did you say no? Did you enjoy it? Did you whatever? Like treating basic people like absolute shit. Not actually treating them as if their charges, may very well be correct, and then allowing the story to prove itself wrong. So Politico and CNN said she provided contemporaneous evidence, which includes emails that she sent to the therapist back then, Facebook messages from 2023, statements from the people she's told before Platner became a Senate candidate, and interviews with former partners and others who are familiar with her account. So again, Platner has denied the accusation, and we are going to watch Platner's and respond to Platner's, response to this. Oh, we don't need to see the chat twice again, at least the Twitch chat. So here is Graham Platner responding to the allegations being made against him. And of course, again, we know that false accusations happen. We know that they are rare, and we know that, or we believe victims until they have something in their story that falls apart. And we don't even expect victims to be completely 100% perfect either, because they can't be expected to be perfect, but we still will give victims the benefit of the doubt, or people who are alleging that they are victims the benefit of the doubt, until they give us reasons to doubt. So let's listen to the official Democratic candidate for Maine's senatorial seat against Susan Collins and see what he has to say.
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false.
Now, if what she said is true, it is very well possible that he, being drunk, did not realize what he was doing was a violation of her consent. But that's not an excuse, just like being drunk is not an excuse for drunk driving and harming people while you're driving while drunk. Being drunk does not remove your liability for a crime that you may have committed. So if you violated the consent of somebody while drunk, guess what? It's still rape, it's still sexual. Again, I wasn't there, I don't know. That's what she's alleging. She's alleging he was drunk. but it's possible that somebody could be so intoxicated that they might not even realize what was going on, was, as negative as she has said it is. But that doesn't excuse his behavior whatsoever. Let's continue.
Over the last 10 months, I have been deeply humbled by the faith Mainers have put in me. You have welcomed me into your homes, into your places of work.
I bet you some people are feeling a little, maybe unease or like that wasn't the best decision ever at this point.
Into your restaurants, into your houses of worship. You have shown that a different kind of politics, one that puts the interests of people over corporations, is not just possible, but is inevitable. This movement we have built, the largest volunteer base in the
What are you, Thanos? This is inevitable?
history of Maine politics. The hundreds of thousands of grassroots donors and the supporters across the ideological spectrum, we were united in a love of Maine, a belief that our politics must change, and a focus on defeating Susan Collins.
And yes, our politics must change. And yes, defeating Susan Collins is a very important thing to do. And again, as I said before here on this show, I don't want to hear a peep from MAGA folks trying to say, oh, here's the Democrats supporting a guy with a Nazi tattoo and supporting a guy who's been accused of sexual assault. You support Donald Trump. Donald Trump has many credible charges about him committing sexual assault against other people. He was found civilly liable for sexual abuse against E. Jean Carroll. He is closely tied with Jeffrey Epstein. They were buddies. He was Epstein's wingman. And he is an absolute anti-Semite. So don't Trumpers come in and tell me about Graham Platner while you are continuing to support Trump. And if I had to make the choice between voting for Graham Platner and voting for somebody who is, supporting Donald Trump and basically allows herself to be Trump's stooge, I'm going to support Platner. But hopefully, at this point, I think there's a right thing for him to do before it's too late. We'll get to that in a smidge.
So, regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality.
Wait, now look, I am the first to criticize the corporate media, but is the reporting inaccurate? They're reporting what she said. So is he claiming that they're reporting what she said wrong? Because that would be inaccuracies. If they're reporting what she's saying correctly, then it's not inaccurate reporting. So that's a big distinction there. Now, if they are inaccurately reporting her, I'm sure she will come forward and say they are inaccurately reporting. This is what I really said, but it seems to me like they're accurately reporting her accusations. Now, he's claiming those accusations are false, but that's a much different statement than the media is inaccurately reporting on this. So
It will inflict. We are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love, the people that I love, the movement I belong to, and the goal of defeating Susan Collins.
And look, if I had something that was in my closet or whatever, and then people kept on coming forward and saying I acted inappropriately with women, and I wanted to set the best example possible, I would say, even if I didn't believe the charges were correct, I'd be like, look, there is currently enough time as of today for Platner to step down and to let the Democratic Party choose a nominee to replace him. But after about several days or weeks or something, I forget the exact day that takes place, but after that happens, they will no longer be able to do so, and they'll be stuck with Platner. So Platner needs to basically decide real quick what he's going to do to allow the Democratic Party of Maine to come up with a different candidate who might be able to grab a hold of at least most, if not all, of the coalition that Graham Platner has decided to support, who have decided to support Graham Platner. Easy for me to say.
Those were the goals when we launched this campaign, and they remain my goals today. On June 9th, 154,058 Mainers, the most in primary history, voted to reject a broken politics beholden to Washington and the donor class. They voted for hope, for change, to take back our economy, to take back our power, and to take back our Senate seat.
But here's the thing, if her allegations are true, then you can't sit here and say that you're somebody who's trying to take back power when, if the allegations are true, you took power allegedly from somebody else who was not able to resist you because you allegedly forced yourself onto her. So, kind of hard to make the argument of taking back power when you took it away from other people who didn't deserve to have it taken away from them, again, if those allegations are true.
Throughout it all, you never turned your back on me, and I will not turn my back on you now. Every one of you deserves to see that vision come to fruition and see Susan Collins defeated. And we will.
And absolutely, we should. This nation deserves to see Susan Collins defeated because she's proven herself to be spineless and worthless and unwilling to stand up to Trump in most cases, with rare exception. But are you the person now to do it with all of the allegations against you? And I'm going to say credible allegations against you. I don't think so.
We use every tool at our disposal to do so. As Maine goes, so goes the nation. As always, thank you.
As always, thank you. So yeah, let's close that up. And yeah, so I'm not sitting here and trying to say that, Democrats are not perfect. Clearly Democrats are not perfect. And clearly the most important thing is making sure that Democrats take back both houses of Congress. So, Orb rumor, he'll get the Al Franken treatment just like every Democrat. Meanwhile, zero prosecutions, the Epstein stays, Kavanaugh, Hegseth, Trump himself. I mean, yeah, but the Al Franken treatment, I think, is a bit different because Al Franken had one picture of him faking like this without actually ever touching anybody. And it was like, with another comedian who may or may not have, whatever. But there was no touching, there was no assault, there was no groping, and there was no rape. And unfortunately, Gillibrand was very overzealous in her attempts to have him yeeted from the Senate and took advantage of what was going on to do so, and which hurt the Democratic Party overall. It was ridiculous to go after Franken, but we do need to hold our own accountable. Like Anthony Weiner, we held him accountable. When ours do wrong, we need to hold ours accountable because we need to show that we're better than them. On the other side of the coin, I still don't want to hear shit from conservatives who are going to say, oh, well, Democrats are supporting these people, so what? No. I'm going to call out our own, but y'all can't call out ours until you call out yours. That's the simple truth to it. So, exactly. 250 kilo, we held Wiener accountable.
Oh my.
I was trying to think of how to make that joke. You did it better than me, so mazel tov on that one. Steven, good to see you. Thank you for joining the chat. Appreciate you. Make sure if you haven't smashed that like button yet to smash it on the way out. Let's see, Luck Dragon. Good to see you, Luck Dragon. They spend too much time trying to divide the Democratic Party rather than unite, in my opinion. Julie claims to hate AIPAC, but she is consistently pulling talking points. Wait, who? Julie who? Wiener's Gone Wyam, Volume 17.
Oh my.
Anyway. Donald Trump would say, I didn't know her and she was ugly anyway. And then when showed a picture of her, he'd be like, oh, that's Marla. Wait, no sound what? You didn't hear any sound? I mean, if other people were not hearing sound, you would have seen lots of people going, sound, sound, sound. Hey, Rantler, good to see you. See who else? Dean, good to see you, Dean. Who else? John, glad, good to see you. You said no sound, but good to see you anyway. I don't have So what does Trump call the media consistency? James says fake news. It's fake news. I don't like it. I don't yet have that sound. I like turtles either when Big Hook calls turtle toes. Let's see. Nick Rich, miss a lot of Dan's live streams. Glad to be here. I'm glad you're here too, Nick Rich. Appreciate you. It is good to see you as well. I like seeing you on all the other shows, but I love it the most when you come here the best. Because I love the more here, the merrier. And we have 38 concurrent viewers, which is pretty good for a non-HAL rated show. So, yeah, I don't know where I know I had an I like turtles sound, but I just don't know where it fucking went. It should be there. Maybe it didn't get uploaded. I don't know, but it's not. Let's see, soundboard audio. It is what it is. There's no turtles. I like most turtles, at least. I don't like the one turtle that's in the hospital right now. So, anyway. Yeah, Gillibrand knew exactly what she was doing to Franken because she then turns around and supports Cuomo. Yeah, I mean, if I would have caught that, I would have made her hypocrite of the week as well, because that's just absurd. But then again, we have lots of absurd people who want to, back Cuomo and then complain about the Democratic Socialists like Mamdani winning. Of course, we talked about it on another show, but still, it's aggravating as shit. It's like, look, if you didn't want Mamdani to win, you should have run a better candidate than fucking Cuomo, who again had his own credible claims of sexual abuse, assault allegations against him, harassment against him too. So let's see. Corporate Dems are in a party panic. Yes, they are. Turtles don't talk. Well, Senate Majority Leader Mr. McConnell would say so. Would say that he disagrees because he's a turtle and he talks. Anyway. Anyway. Atrocious Civic Game. Number one lesson from Platner. The pod save America's assholes should not be Democratic kingmakers. They've been wrong on absolutely nothing for 10 years. You mean they've been wrong on absolutely everything for 10 years? Is that what you meant? So, anyway. Do we want to do a call-in segment? Hold on. I need to get I don't have the image ready yet. I need to refix the image for the Google Voice. But I will go ahead and still copy the phone number into the chat. It'll be posted on the screen for both to see, but I'm going to have it both on Twitch and YouTube. Let me go ahead and shut that off so you don't have to hear the ringing, and then turn on the receiving calls so y'all can call in if you wish. 562-LIBDAN1, 562-LIBDAN1, 562-542-3261. Suzanne goes, I'm going to watch Hudson and Rex. Everyone have a good night. Good night, Suzanne. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Ooh, we're 4 minutes into bonus time, and Belgium is still winning 3-1. It does not look like the United States is going to make it into the next round of 8. So, it is what it is. Donald Trump cursed the United States soccer team by involving himself in the BS. Can you imagine if Biden had interjected himself into a soccer match?
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
Steve's like, not now, Dan. Yeah, 4-1 now. 4-1 Belgium. Did it like just happen as I was saying it? Yeah, 90 plus 3. At plus 3 minutes, the Lukaku scored their 4th goal with Charles I don't even want to pronounce that name. I'll butcher the frickin' name. Oh yeah, when it was 3-1 going into bonus time, they were done. 4-1, there's no way to get down 4-1. There's no way to come back when down. I mean, hell, there's probably no way to come back from 2-1, although it's much more likely than 3-1. So, again, Donald Trump screws over the United States soccer team by interjecting him and then putting the will of the world against us, as the Simpsons laugh and go, anyway. How many teams left for the World Cup? Well, after this round, we're in this round of 16, so after this round, it'll be 8. So I don't know how many of the round of 16 games are yet left to play. So, again, I don't follow it as well. I just follow it from the periphery, I guess. So, and if nobody calls in a few minutes, we're going to end the show right at 9, because I'm tired. I don't want to make you, tired. The Obama referees treated them very poorly. Exactly, Orb Rumor. Primitive Icon. Dan, did you stop to check out the bands at Essence Fest? I did not go to Essence Fest. I typically, last few years, I absolutely haven't been in a position where I would, be able to, financially wise. I mean, there are groups that play Essence Fest that I would absolutely go see. I would love to be able to go see and cover Essence Fest. I mean, look, it's, I think it's a great thing for the city, even though there are some restaurants that want to close down and not feed and welcome those folks who are visiting to the city and giving us business. So their loss, I guess, their loss for being racist. There we go. We got Big Hook calling in. Let's see. Allow using the site. Hopefully Big Hook can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Because it was like, you give permission. I was like, oh crap. Am I going to have to set up all of the use this, use that, to make sure everything was working right? But good to hear from you. How was your weekend?
It was okay. I mean, it was interesting watching the alternate reality that the 4th of July was for so many people. It was, I mean, the act of God intervention was rather refreshing, but I don't know what's it going to take to end him. He really is just grifting and grifting and grifting. I mean, he stole all that money from the legitimate committee for the 250th celebration community, and then he went and put his own private event planning thing there. So he grifted off of that as well, and it was such a substandard thing, I mean, the stage was falling apart, nobody
fields were
there.
empty. It was an embarrassment. It was some people say there's embarrassment of riches. This is a richly embarrassment or whatever. I don't know, but there's a better way to say it. But if you ever do your own show, Orb Rumor in the YouTube chat gave you your like how I have talked from the left. That's right. Orb Rumor got his hooks on the pulse of America. So you could do like big hook. He has his hooks on the pulse of America. So
well, I think I proposed it would be like, considering all I ever do is complain about you guys, it would be basically, might be just what the fuck America. But, I mean, it's disheartening to see you guys deconstructing so badly, because let's face it, like, Elon Musk succeeded. He gave Trump a mission statement, and they've been just dismantling the government one step at a time. I mean, some of the federal judges are slowing down the dismantling, but I just don't know. You're going to lose all your experts. everything that you were proud of, such as having experts like Fauci as well as other great scientists, you're losing them all. You know, there's the other factor, which is the enshittification of all these online things, whether it be YouTube or Google or whatever, right? I mean, because it's all about making money, not about providing a service that's worthy. I don't know, and they steal all your data, and they're using it against you. I mean, and if you're an unwilling participant, you basically have to pay to have your data removed as well. I mean, I don't know. I wonder where you guys are going to end up, because that's the thing. Because unless you guys go even further into debt to rebuild all the institutions that have been torn down from the roots, and put laws everywhere to tell the Republicans basically to fuck off. You don't know how to run the country. All you ever do is bankrupt everything and give everything away to the billionaires who don't need it. I don't know what else you're going to do.
We'll have to basically prove massive fraud in the courts, and then you'll have to seize all the assets of the billionaires and the trillionaire who profited from the fraud that took place on the American people. That's what would probably have to be done, but you'll probably have to expand the court and stuff with people who are going to be, on the left, and of course the right's going to complain about that. I'm surprised Trump hasn't even tried to do that yet. So.
Yeah, but that's just it. I don't know what's going to happen, because at this point, if he can figure out a way to fuck with the elections and everything else in the same manner that Elon Musk did, I mean, I don't know what else to say or do. I mean, stupid people are going to vote for stupid people, right? I mean, that's just it. They believe anything that comes out of the mouth of a Republican, whether it's been fact-checked or not. I mean, and then the media is, not asking the hard questions and fact-checking these idiots in real time. I mean, Burgum there just spouted absolute fucking nonsense throughout the whole thing, whether it be with Meet the Press or with the George Stephanopoulos. I mean, he didn't hold him to anything. He just said, well, what do you think about this? And then let him spout his bullshit, and then didn't counter fact check him. I mean, I just don't. I don't know where you guys are heading, because it seems more and more like, like the people that are supposed to hold them to account are compromised now.
Oh, somebody else is calling in. We'll have to decline it for now, but
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, you look at your where you are in Louisiana, right?
Right.
And you look at the illegal action that your governor took to go and cancel the primary elections, which had already been held, as well as to change all the districts.
Yep.
And I mean, like, that's absolute chaos. And he says, oh, well, I have the approval of the Supreme Court. And it's like, yeah, but what would a decent person do?
Right. Legal is not moral.
Yeah. What would people do rather than taking, a controversial at best, illegal at, on a whole, ruling from the Supreme Court, and go and fuck with people's ability to make to put people in power who represent them the way they want to be represented. I don't see that. I I don't know.
Wait, John Doe asks, how could a majority of swing state ballots go for Trump but go for Democrats down ballots? Saying that we were hacked in 2024 election. I mean, it's a possibility, but my argument has been it's racism and sexism. It's the same reason why Hillary couldn't win, and people flipped from Bernie in the primaries to Trump in the general election in 2016. I think there was racism and sexism that came into play in several of the states. In some cases, it was racism. In some cases, it was sexism. But I do think that did come into play where people were like, I'm fine with maybe a Democratic woman as senator, but I'm not Democratic white woman as senator, but I'm not okay with a black woman as president. I'm fine with a Hispanic man as senator, but I'm not okay with a black woman as president. So, I mean, I think that is one of the things that I think potentially could be the explanation as to why Harris lost. Especially because the Democratic Party likes to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. So anyway, go on.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. You guys fall for all the bullshit and the fallacies. And I mean, and the fact that you say, you try and say, we're not a racist country, we've evolved. How could we possibly be racist? We elected Obama twice, and then you replaced him with the most racist piece of shit ever. And then after you put a Democrat in who basically saves the country from COVID as well as reestablishing, economic viability, you go and you put this fuck in who's basically stealing everything that's in the piggy bank and dismantling government and, and doesn't pay taxes on a reasonable level, and
right.
I mean, I don't know what, and you've still got whatever, almost 100 million people who don't vote. I mean, and then the other thing what is it? Apparently, over the last 5 days, ICE has gone and gotten over 100,000 people that they've jailed, and they're going to deport these people. And I'm like, what the? Like,
Yep.
they're
Wait, hold on.
accelerating all this. Maybe it's 10,000.
5 eggs comes into the chat. Trump touched USA Soccer and it died 4-1 Belgium. I was like, yep. But I'm like, sitting there thinking, everything that Donald Trump touches dies. Why can't he touch himself? Anyway.
Well, exactly. That's just it.
Ooh, something's going on over there.
They're not coming. Yeah, they're not coming for me.
Oh, well, Donald Trump doesn't have his feelers up into Canada that far. So.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like I said, I think it's also a case of he's trying to dishearten us and to make it seem like the whole thing is hopeless.
Wait, Jen goes, he can't find it.
Oh my.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
But the thing is that that's what I'm worried about is that people are not going to be motivated enough to go out there and do stuff. And, and I mean, that's the biggest danger that there is already. And, I don't know what to tell you. You gotta step up to the plate and save what works. And maybe, and the thing is don't repair it, reform it, change things, write it down in law. And when you write it down in law, give examples of how the law should perform and what it is. And don't leave it, in a way that can be misinterpreted. Don't use questionable language that can be this or that or, whatever, because that's the thing. You give the Republicans an inch, they will take a mile and drag that lie all the way to the finish line and hurt as many people as they possibly can, because the racist, bigoted agenda is a never-ending, kink that they have. And, they enjoy hurting people. They love watching poor people struggling to survive and taking away their only lifeline, whether it be health care, whether it be SNAP benefits, whether it be their voting rights, whether it be, how many people can afford to go and get a passport in order to vote?
Yep. Hold on. Bald Thanos goes, Dan, just be thankful Trump doesn't have telekinesis. I think in order to have telekinesis, you need a working brain. And let's see. Someone else said something else. Oh, and I lost the comment. Oh no, I think it was maybe it was what you. Oh, I think it was what you said. What you had said was you give Republicans an inch, and they'll take a mile. But if you give a Republican woman an inch, she might marry you because it's probably the largest she's ever seen.
Yeah. True enough.
Sorry.
Because the funny thing, that's the thing though. There's this anti-intellectualism trend there, and it's like guys who basically peaked at high school and somehow think that, oh well, if I watch enough TikTok, I can learn to parrot all the things that other people say, and therefore I'm educated now and I know more than people who went to school and understand the systems and see that if you just took a history lesson and looked at all the failures and the downgrade of society via the Republicans being in control, all the unnecessary wars you've been dragged into, all the unnecessary debt you've been dragged into. You transferred, what was it, $71 trillion to the top 10%.
Yeah, the top 1% today has been shown that the top one, even though the consumer confidence is at an all-time low, the top 1% have the largest stake in the stock market as they've ever had, and that's why the stock market is doing so well, because the 1% are profiting off of the woes and the problems of us peons.
90% of the stock market is owned by the top 5% in the country, and that's just it. The stock market is basically, it's a mechanism that the rich use to basically borrow against in stocks, so that way they don't pay taxes. And if anything, they should have a wealth tax to work around that. And that's the problem. They just change the language and say, oh, well, this doesn't mean this anymore. Oh, this is a workaround for this. And that's the thing. They hire the most expensive lawyers to craft legislation that is like almost impossible to change unless somebody comes in and says, this is all fucking bullshit. We need to rip it all up and start from the beginning and work within a fair system that, caters to everybody. And that's just it. You should have universal health care. You should have unemployment insurance. You should have, welfare system there to feed people when they can't possibly work, or, let's say care homes for the elderly when they can no longer take care of themselves. That stuff should be there. That's just everywhere else across the world. It's universal.
But here in America, if you want to get an elderly person into a home, you have to basically sign away the house that they've lived in forever, and the old folks home gets the lease to the house or whatever, and gets to take it over, unless you have people who are smart enough to figure out the loopholes that would protect the house from other people, like having other people's names on the house or whatever, to make sure that they can't seize it to put you in a home.
Put your children in a trust name as opposed to actually giving them the house, so that way you save on taxes as well as the fact that, and that's just it. The rich have rigged the system so that way there's just, and then on top of that, they keep saying that, oh, well, what's going to happen is that if you tax us to death, we'll just all run away with all their money. And it's like, go ahead. Go live in fucking New Zealand and live in your bunkers and
what I've said to that argument.
There.
What I've said in that argument is like, we have the best military in the world. Do you want the best military in the world protecting your wealth, or do you want, some other substandard military taking care of or protecting your wealth? I think I would call their bluff. I would call their bluff on that one. So anyway, I have a couple of questions in the chat that I want to get to.
Yeah.
Any last points you want to make before we move on to the questions in the chat?
Not really. I think it's just I look at it and I want better things for you guys, but I don't have the power to make these things happen. The only thing I can say is that you guys have to step up, and you have to be armed with information to be able to change minds and make sure that it's, because they're going to come back with anecdotal bullshit. And you have to be armed to the teeth with facts and say, how has the last 40-odd years worked out for you? Have you gained wealth, or have you lost almost everything and now you can barely afford to live? And
right.
That's the toughest conversation that you have to have with these people, and say, you can't be a one-issue voter anymore. You have to look at everything, and you have to make a smart decision based on overall policy, not a single policy. And don't believe the bullshitters. Oh, only I can fix it. That's the biggest fucking lie in the world that Trump keeps telling. And these people go, not in agreement, and and offer to go and have sex with him for nothing because, I love Donald Trump. But it's like, fuck off.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for calling.
Care,
appreciate
guys.
you. You have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Big Hook, everybody. I did get a voicemail. I don't know if I necessarily want to play the voicemail right now. I don't know what's on it, so therefore, I don't know. But I did want to get some of the questions in the chat before re-giving back out the phone number, I suppose. Bald Thanos asked, Dan, I'm going to get your take on police using entrapment. Well, obviously, I've been very critical of police on many things on this show. Is there a particular case of entrapment that you want me to look into and comment on, or just general feelings of police using entrapment? Because, police have many tactics that they use that are bullshit. Your voicemail says, this is your final offer to extend your warranty, or is it a welcome to a Jet 2 vacation? I'll have to do more of a British accent if I say Jet 2 vacation. Cabbage Man over in Twitch says, as a moderate Republican, I enjoy listening to other ideas and try to find common ground. I also will absolutely listen to other ideas and try and find common ground. If you're a leftist / pragmatic progressive, who's your best candidate for president upcoming? At this point, I don't know. Some leftist progressive folks might say AOC. But I feel like we've been hit twice trying to run candidates who are women. Are we as a nation ready to vote for a candidate who is a woman? I think we still have too much rampant sexism. I voted for Hillary Clinton. I voted for Kamala Harris. I felt that they were much more qualified to be president than Donald John Trump. That being said, there are people who didn't. There again are people who went from Bernie Sanders in the 2016 primary to voting for Trump. That doesn't make any goddamn sense whatsoever. Regardless of how you feel the Democratic Party was unfair to Bernie. Now, I did criticize some of the actions of the Democratic Party in 2016 as it pertained to Bernie Sanders, and I would have voted for either Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton. Not that it matters, because I live in Louisiana, and my vote in the Electoral College doesn't mean shit, because the Electoral College is an antiquated system that we need to throw into the dustbin of history. But John Doe says AOC is pro-Israel. Why? I've heard that, and from all of the claims that she voted, she voted no on offensive weaponry to Israel, and I think she might have voted yes on the overall package that might have included that. But I think some of the claims about AOC being supportive of like the Netanyahu administration or whatever is not true at all. Now, Schumer may very well be pro-Israel, and too much so. But I as a Jewish person am disappointed in any Jewish person who supports the actions of the Netanyahu administration, because you're supporting somebody who wants to ethnically cleanse the West Bank and Gaza. So let's see. Steve says, did you hear about the couple in Ohio with 16 near-feral kids in the shit-filled house? I didn't. I had heard about it just earlier on in the chat. I haven't gotten a chance to cover it. Yeah, Paul Thanos, Schumer's last name is Jewish, but there are Jews who support Israel, and then there are Jews who are opposed to the actions of the Israeli government and will absolutely criticize Israel. I'm of the latter. Schumer is unfortunately of the former, at least a little bit too much in my opinion. But again, don't conflate Zionism or anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. One of the things that I said, or I have said, and I think I want to make some videos on this particular topic as well, is that one of the reasons that you can clearly say why anti-Zionism is not specifically and inherently anti-Semitism is because the majority of Zionists are Christians. The majority of the people that support the right of Israel to exist are Christian evangelicals. They want Israel to exist. Specifically, they want Israel to exist because they want to be able to have their end times come around so all of us can be over here so we can die first. And that in and of itself is anti-Semitic. To support Israel just because you want more of us to die in your end times, yeah, that's not very loving of Jews, is it? So, I mean, look, I don't think there's any way, like, I'll get leftists pushing back on me when I say at this point in time, I don't think that we can have one giant secular state that would represent the entire Levantine region. I don't think you could combine Israel and Palestine into one state and have everybody living in peace and prosperity. There's way too much bad blood. You would at the very least, need to do some sort of confederation of two different states where, like, maybe joint defense goals maybe are dealt with together if you can manage that. But individual internal affairs are dealt internally, because I don't think that the Palestinians living in the West Bank and Gaza and the people living in Israel, not all of whom are Jewish, I don't think they're quite yet ready to live together in peace and harmony. Maybe but if Israel can get its hands out of the West Bank and Gaza and allow the Palestinian people to have their own country and to have their own elections and vote out the religious extremist conservative Hamas, then maybe they might be able to, at some point, work together towards a common goal, a common future, and maybe a singular organized one. Oh, we got the phone call again from the same number. So let's see who we got calling in. Hey, Mike, what's going on?
How you doing, sir?
How are you today?
Yeah, I just thought I'd call you and let you know that we need to vote all the Republicans out.
We absolutely
really
need to vote all the Republicans out. Absolutely. We need to not allow the Republicans to gain a single seat more of power. So,
Yeah, not at all. Trump has got in there and destroyed destroyed it all.
Yep, he is destroying it all. Not just proverbially, like literally destroying everything, like destroying the watering, the big, reflecting pool, destroying the east wing of the damn White House, destroying everything, but also destroying institutions, people. It's horrible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
I just thought I'd call I'll let you go. I know you're busy.
all right, man. Well, you have a good one. Thank you so much.
All right, you too now. Have a good
Bye.
night.
You too, Mike. Bye. All right, thank you very much. Always good to have more callers. So again, 562-LIBDAN1, 562-LIBDAN1, 562-542-3261 if you want to call in and share your thoughts, discuss, debate the areas, whatever. Orb Rumor, Mike sounds like he's from the southern areas. It's possible. I mean, there is the guy that calls in who I've often featured on Words of Redneck Wisdom, who is from Indiana, who does sound like this and says Jeff, but he's also against Trump. So, hey, he was for Trump for a while, but then he views Trump as a traitor who's went back on his promises. And so, hey, as Trump says, it is what it is. We're going to give a few more minutes at least for other phone calls to come in. I'm starting to get thirsty. We do have another phone call. Look at that. Hey, Jen, what's going on? Good to hear from you.
What's up?
What's up? How are you?
What's up?
What's up?
Oh, nothing much. Well, I went from one job to another real fast.
So you left the first job, or you have two jobs, or you left the one and went to another?
I left one, and luckily, right when I was thinking, oh my God, I can't stand it here, this company I had temped for reached out to me because the girl they thought was going to come back after a 6-week leave never came back. So she asked me how things were going, and I was like, oh my God, it's terrible. And it's so amazing how you could be at one place and it's like you're a pariah, and then go to another place and they think you're the bee's knees. So I don't even know. It was like a Twilight Zone episode. They were, it was a horrible place. Like I bought a stun gun because of the safety issues. We had to have security detail to go and look at apartments. The model apartment got robbed, and I was supposed to like move in there, and I was thinking this is not going to happen. So, but I've been using public health care because I got long COVID a long time ago, and it affected me, my body and my mind. I was one of the rare cases where I had psychological effects from it. And but I've been in Dallas, but the health care that I've been getting from the clinic is in East Texas, and they know I've been staying in Dallas, and it's like, but I'm not a permanent resident there. And today they just said, we're going to transfer your services over to Dallas. I said, how are you going to do that when I can't prove to them that I reside in Dallas? I have no permanent resident as of right now in Dallas.
Right.
It's like, well, we can't continue to give you services when you're not living here. I'm like, well, I'm not really
living anywhere. Like if you don't have an actual home, like if you're imagine if you were unhoused. I mean, I don't want you to have to be unhoused, but if you're unhoused, then how would you get the care if you can't prove where you live, right?
What if I was a flight attendant, or I just traveled in general, and it's like, so you're gonna uproot me and throw me to it right before my next doctor's appointment,
right?
And which is on the 29th. And I said, you've got to let me see my doctor again, because they were like, well, we'll give you 3 months. Actually, they didn't say much of anything to me, and I had a caseworker. I was stressed about it all day long, and trying to deal with the Monday that probably wouldn't have been as bad if I wasn't just full of panic and like, I need to know, and there was no one to tell me what I needed to know, right. And I can't take personal phone calls all day at work. So it was just ridiculous. It's just this. And so, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to let me see my doctor. So thank goodness, because, I mean, that one of my, I'm ADD. One of my medications is they can't just write a refill for Adderall. They have to actually write a new prescription. So they're like, well, we'll give you three months of refills. It's like, yes, is the doctor going to, for those 3 months, actually make a new prescription for me for the Adderall, because you can't just write a refill on that medication, and then if you're concerned about that or something like that, they're like, oh God, she's drug seeking, and oh my goodness,
yeah,
and
I've had
addicted to it, and
I've had people deal with that too. Like,
it just helps me.
friend of mine like had a broken freaking hip and was trying to go to the hospital to deal with it, and they put in her chart that they thought she was drug searching. I'm like, yeah, she's drug searching for a broken fucking hip. Like they're so worried about people who are drug searching. And look, there are people who do that. There are people who doctor shop for drugs, and it's fine. But a lot of the times we throw out the baby with the bathwater, so to speak.
Exactly, and they shouldn't, because every time I go in there, since it's public health care, they give me a piss test, so they'll know. They know if I still have some left, because otherwise it won't be in my system anymore if I ran out.
Right.
So, like, if I had sold them, it wouldn't be in my system anymore. They would know if there was too much in my system. And this has been for more than a year, so they have every indication that I'm taking my medication as prescribed. There's no other signs, that I'm abusing it. But it's like, I just know as soon as I'm concerned about, that one medication, it's like, well, I'm concerned about that one medication because of your concern about that one medication and what your reaction is going to be. And what if I go to a new doctor, are they going to be one of those doctors who's like, oh yeah, I don't really think we should prescribe this and this at the same time? Okay, so even though I've been stable on this medication regimen for more than a year, and I fill out surveys every time I go to the doctor, and you can see that I've been improving and stabilizing, you're going to just make a unilateral decision not knowing me and decide not to give me the medication that I've been taking consistently for over a year.
Right.
That I'm finally like, oh, I was so frustrated. Anyway, and then it was a Monday after a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
So
I feel your pain.
All day to get through my emails. Just my emails alone would have been a full day's work. So.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, at least they're gonna let me see my doctor again, and
that's good.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take some time off from work because I have to drive back to East Texas to meet face to face with my caseworker that goes dyslexia, and then I got to go again on the 29th to actually see my doctor. So I hate doing that when you have a new employer and you're like, well,
yeah,
I know I started, but I got to take a half day on this day and a full day on this day, and this is my first month of employment with you. So I don't know. It's just frustrating.
Well, they came after you and asking for you, right? So hopefully they'll be understanding and be like, hey, look, I had this pre-existing doctor's appointment. I need to go. So sorry. So, but hopefully they'll be understanding.
They will. I worry too much. So.
My DPD says, what about your GLP-1 injections? I've got everything straightened out. I'm in the middle of the appeal for the second round of the appeal, so we will see if it gets straightened out. But as of yet, I still have my last pen that I'm waiting to take until an opportune moment. So.
And the herbal one that I was going to take, they ended up sending it to an address that I had 5 years ago.
Oh, jeez.
And then I contacted them and I said, you sent it to the wrong address. They were like, oh, okay, no problem. We'll send you another one. They sent it again, even though I just told you in the email what I think it must have been an AI, because I said, this is my actual address right now where I need you to send it. And they said, okay, no problem. Then I get the tracking and they're sending it again to Cypress, Texas. And I'm like, which is Houston.
Right.
I'm like, then they sent me the survey. How was our survey?
Terrible.
Yeah, it was sucky. But anyway, now they've finally got it right, I think, and they're giving it to me for free. But it's supposedly oil of oregano, but in this like concentrated dosage, and then there's supposed to be a complimentary, or something not complimentary, but it complements it, is a black seed oil. And in combination, they're supposed to kind of mimic, what is it, an LP?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to work or not, but it has a money-back guarantee, and well, now at this point I'm getting at least one of them for free. But it's been a waiting process because they've sent it out twice. Whoever lives at my last address has a 2-month supply of it, and they probably just threw it in the trash. So anyway, I just thought I'd call in. I was just going to say, as far as the politics goes, I think Texas has a decent chance. I don't know if the governor, if Abbott can be ousted, but I think Tallarico is running pretty strong. It was unfortunate that I had to choose between, or that we all had to choose between Jasmine Crockett and Tallarico.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, and as much as I would have wanted Jasmine Crockett, I live in Texas, and I'm just like, I don't know if Texas is gonna vote for. I'm sorry, it's ugly, but a black woman. I just don't.
I mean, look, same thing about. I mean, I hate to say, I don't know if America's ready to vote for a woman for president. Period. I mean, it feels like I'm supporting sexism, but in reality, I'm being critical of the sexism that I've seen on the part of America in the last 3 election cycles. So it's frustrating.
Yeah, and even from women, not just men, but women are sexist too.
Yeah,
like it's just there's
internalized misogyny.
Didn't vote for Hillary either. Yeah, it's really weird.
So is the oregano oil you're talking about like an oregano like essential oil, or is it something different?
Yes, it is, but it's a very high concentrate, and it also has to do with the encapsulation because it's got to make it past your stomach acid and into your intestines. So, but like I said, they said that you're supposed to see some difference within 2 weeks. So I'll let you know if I ever get it, whether I see any improvement or anything at all. Really, it's supposed to get rid of sugar cravings and also help get rid of parasites that cause you to crave sugar, and also increase the hormones, the GLP and things like that. And then it's got another ingredient in it, and I can't think of the name of it right now. It starts with a TH, but it's supposed to.
But not THC, huh?
Tell your no, not THC. That makes you eat more.
Yeah, exactly. That gives you the munchies. Yeah, exactly.
I can't smoke pot either. I tried. I'm 48 years old. I tried it 48,000 times. I can't do it. But anyway, it's supposed to tell your. Pretty much it's what the layman's terms is basically tell your body that you don't need to store fat anymore.
Fair enough. Sounds interesting.
See. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's good talking to you.
Well,
and have a good one, and I'm sure we'll see you Wednesday, right?
Definitely.
All right. Well, have a great one.
All right. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, I do think I'm going to shut down the phone lines for now, but I do want to answer a couple of the questions. DPD says, have you tried Hims or the other GLP-1 sites? I tried Roe previously, and it didn't work because of some Louisiana law. Apparently, they potentially changed the Louisiana law, so I may have to go look into it if this appeal goes to shit, because I'd rather not spend money on a health thing that could go and count as going towards my max out of pocket. But we will see, because again, at some point I'm gonna, and if for some reason I can't get it delivered to me here, I may just have to get a PO box right across the border in Mississippi and have it shipped there if that's legal. So anyway, cool, Jen. Thank you so much for saying you'd email the ingredients. And then Miss Kitty says, I am being realistic. Jolie says, I think we should keep putting up women and people of color for president. Let this country burn down until it decides to stop being misogynist, racist. Yeah, I mean, I want to say absolutely hell yes. Burn it down if it won't. But, what's the cost? What's the harm of that? And that's the only other thing I'm thinking of is like, if we could have a guaranteed win and then work on moving this country more to the left so that we could actually get somebody, then again, it was like 12% of the progressive leftists voting for Bernie that went ahead and flipped for Trump anyway. So you can't even trust some of the progressive leftists, because had they just voted for Jill Stein in 2016 instead of Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton would have won. So, yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, y'all, thank y'all so much. DPD, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody for joining the show. Wish me and my wife a very happy anniversary tomorrow. 19 years. A bronze anniversary apparently is 19 years. So, y'all have a great one. We will see you Wednesday night for a shorter show, and then also for Liberal Dan After Dark. So until then, y'all have a great rest of your night. And wait, I gotta see, do I have what I need? Is it this? Yeah, I think this is the first one I'm gonna play. Anyway, have a great one. Peace.
The creative director at WGSO had a little something he thought you should know. When Dan picked on his bits, Steve got real gruff. So Steve called Dan a flake, called him liberal dandruff. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest. Steve's about to find out his mistake. In this feud, Dan's Kendrick, Steve is Drake. Dan might not be the world's best singer, but he's got more talent in his little finger. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest.
This just in. A sudden spike in logic levels across the city. Citizens report seeing a man with glasses and a podcast mic. We go now live to Liberal Dan. Yo, who you gonna call when Nazi writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, cause you know we got a plan. The right wing talking shit, but he ain't about to quit. He'll take his proton pack and zap your logic cause it's whack. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall.
It's being reported that Liberal Dan is setting up what appears to be some sort of straw man containment field.
He's calling out your lies with his mic, he'll vaporize. Cross the streams in your dreams, bitch, you know that he's too wise. You're like Slimer talking crap, but you walked into his trap. Yo, it's more than entertainment, it's misinformation contained. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall. The Statue of Liberty, the writing you can see. So bring the huddled masses, it's a war of the classes. While Trump may think he's Vigo, Dan can cut through that ego. He's got the facts to prove him wrong, got that logic like Egon. Your logic is a ghost, cause you know this chick is toast. When you follow MTG, it's conspiracy, you'll see. There's no need to taser, he's got wit like Occam's razor. Liberal Dan cuts those lies with his Jewish face laser.
It's unbelievable. Liberal Dan just used the literal dog whistle to lure a large group of internet trolls into what is being called a self-collapsing rhetoric singularity. In all my years of reporting, I've never seen anything like this.
So don't call to be a heckler, you ain't no Judge Rexler. He'll bust you like Scolary, cause your logic's looking hairy. Right-wing callers think they're cool, but they sounding just like Zool. You the dog, he the man, and yo, his name is Liberal Dan. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall. Liberal Dan, Liberal Dan, Liberal Dan.
Obama and Bush's pictures got hidden, obscuring the past, history rewritten. Hung in a hallway where no door can see, confirming his unending fragility. If Trump can't see it, you must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. Object permanent, a milestone missed. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. The testing was the line that he said. Hundreds of thousands needlessly dead. Now HHS is run by brainworm quack, hiding the truth behind his back. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. An administration run by narcissists. If Trump can't see it, it must not.
All right, hold on a second. Let me see. Let me put this back on for a second. Apparently, according to Occupy Democrats, a journalist is now reporting that Mitch McConnell is officially brain dead and will not be coming back to torment us anymore. Heard the same thing from my sources for days. At this point, I'm in a hospital for when they eventually decide to cut him off life support and move his body. His Capitol Police detail still here as of 3:39 Eastern, wrote Townsend on Twitter. Let's see. There is a community note on it. I mean, he's been brain dead for like over, 20 years at least, 30 years or whatever. I don't know. Let's see. While there's no reputable source citing brain death, the brain dead news came from Laura Loomer. As of now, there's no confirmed on the record. However, given his age, confirmed health issues, and unconscious condition, it's probable that he is brain dead. And then somebody responds, "Wasn't he always just as I said?" Anyway, Big Hook says rigatortus is setting in. Oh, thank you for not leaving and giving us that joke. Rigatortus has set in. Holy shit, awesome. Okay, now back to our regularly scheduled music. Y'all have a good one. See you Wednesday. I needed that laugh.
Documents stacked floor to the wall, top secret folders in a bathroom stall. Charges were pressed, but the case was dropped. A corrupt judicial system he can co-opt. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Else includes the Epstein list. He'll swear it's fake news, a liberal twist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Downtown tents lining the street. Invisible people that power won't beat. Hide them away so the cameras can't find it. Proof of a system that's cold and unkind. A chaotic secret, an NDA sign, an illegal bribe. Michael Cohen fine. Trump got fined too over his gag order, but she didn't gag, cause he was much shorter. It must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. We can't let him win, we must resist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist.
Trump piled debt, trillions tall. Promised Mexico would fund that wall. Praised dictators, said they're strong. Had Joe done it, they'd say he's wrong. Had Biden done it, my call treason if Joe's the name. Is patriotism when Donald's to blame? Had Biden done it, I don't flip. Had Biden done it, more numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd shout no way. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.